Okay, everyone. Welcome to Live with Laura on Laura's View in Tarot 2. I'm so glad you're here. I really am. So today we're going to take a few questions from the audience. And since we're just taking a few, obviously not everybody's question will be chosen. I did want you to know that Julie and I have discussed keeping track of those questions we didn't get to. And if some of those are great topics to bring in individual videos during the week, we'll do that. Okay? So please don't get offended if your question gets overlooked. And if you'd like to have a better chance of having your question answered, know that we are looking for questions that have kind of a broad appeal to more than just like one family, one city. So bigger than that, okay? Um, and again, we won't be taking personal questions. These are, current events or spiritual growth questions, things like that, advice questions for our personal development, okay? Not family situations, okay? Unless it's framed as, how should families navigate through blah, 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 that kind of thing. We can absolutely touch on topics like that. So let's see who's here. Tess is here. Have you got your bowls? I hope so, Tess. Okay. Hi, Jean. Jay St. Anders, hello from England. Huli, Tessa, Teresa, Suzanne, Hearts of Source by JJ. Okay, Susan Longley, RR2, Island Girl, Kathy Bloom, and of course my lovely moderator, Transcending Grammy. Okay, Akiri, I hope I said that right. Kathy, Lorraine. Okay. All right. Susan has a question. Her question is, do I see? Let's ask the universe, okay? We're going to be asking the universe these questions. So the question we want to know is there a significant event happening on the west coast of the U.S. in the near future? And if so, can we have some advice on insights on what it might be? So that's how your question's going to be framed, okay? Is there an upcoming big event for the west coast of the United States? And can we have insights and information on what it might be, if so? Now, what I'm doing a little different this week, I'm going to have my cards displayed here where you can see them, hopefully. And so they'll be slightly out of view, but you can see them as they come up, and then we'll discuss them. And if I need to hold an individual one up to the camera, you can look at it that way. So I'm not going to use that acoustical tile I was using last week with the poster putty. And with live, I haven't figured out a way to do duplicate cameras, so we're just going to make the best of it we can here. So, west coast of the United States, is there an event they can anticipate and information and insights about it? If so, you will notice I basically framed the question 3 times because there is powers in the number 3. And if you're learning to read cards, that might be a useful trick to know. Oh gosh, I wanted you to be able to see all 3 piles. So you know I am picking up the middle one. And I know it. And there's just no doubt about it. Okay, our first card. I'm going to turn the whole deck over because I'm assuming since that one was upside down, they all are. Okay, we have the Page of Wands. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Move those over a little bit. We have the 8 of Swords. I'll speak up a little bit. I'm probably talking too softly. I apologize. Then we have the 5 of Pentacles. We have the 9 of Swords, the World, the Fool. Okay, well, first of all, I'm not seeing anything too troubling for this question about the west coast of the United States, okay? There is some white hat activity that can be anticipated going on there. Okay, I'm not seeing any justice cards or anything like that, okay? But it is going to involve the land. I say that because if there's activity there, it's going to involve the land. I say that because of the pentacles showing up, which talks of real tangible items, which can include gold, money, but also real estate land. So the white hats may have some action that's going to be happening on that's going to impact the White Coast landforms, okay? And it's going to be close to the coast. I say that because we have the Eight of Swords here, and she's near the water. So that's why I'm saying, and we've always been told to watch the water, right? When it comes to white hat or 17 situations, okay? Now, why I'm saying there's no hugely troubling information with this particular read is because the Six of Pentacles shows up here, which is a generosity card. Okay, and that means that the needs of the citizens are being very much kept in mind, and so whatever does happen will be done with the least amount of impact to citizens possible. I say that because looking at the near future, we have the Nine of Swords, which always indicates that there swords are thoughts and words, that there's less to worry about than you think there is. Okay, and then we have two major arcanas just bolstering that thought that there's less to worry about than you think there are. With the World card showing up here, which is a victory card. Wreaths are always victories in the tarot, okay? And then the Fool card, okay? So there's going to be some new activities and events happening that involve the coast. I say the coast. Don't worry about, the old wives' tale about it falling into the ocean or anything like that. Okay. But there may be some changes. You might want to keep your eye on the water, on the skies, and see what's going on. But I'm not getting any indication like direct energy weapon, fires, things like that with this read. Okay. All right. Now, my moderator is going to help me with future questions, and I will get these cards ready for the next question. They're going to rest for a little bit. I have two decks I'll be trading off. They sit on a bar of selenite, and then I tap them on all four corners to kind of release the energy from the previous read and get them ready for a new one. So you know what I'm doing with the cards, and if you're learning to read, you'll kind of know too. I notice one of the mistakes that novice readers make is they say, I get the same type of cards every single time. Well, you have to clear the energy in the deck, okay? Just like when you had a magic Etch-a-Sketch, you had to turn it over and shake it really good and get it ready for the next drawing. Okay, it's the same kind of theory here with the tarot cards. Okay, now moving to my second deck, and I'm going to be looking for a card. Okay. We've got a question from Cecilia. Okay, I'm going to have to phrase it a little carefully. Okay, she would like to know how much longer will 46 be in office. Now, understand, tarot isn't great for when and timeline questions, okay? So, and, quite honestly, our timeline shifts and changes. So I'm willing to tackle the question, and we'll do it this way, okay? Our current president, our imposter in chief, okay? Will he be out of office before the regularly scheduled term of office ends, which would be in 2024? And are there other insights and information about that situation that the universe would like to share with us? So again, framing it a second time, and then I'll do a third time for just the power of three. Okay. Number 46, who our imposter in office, will he appear to finish out that regular term of office? And are there insights and information about the situation the universe wants us to know? Okay. All right. One last time. 46, imposter in office. Okay. The person who appears to be all the people. There's like 13 of them I hear playing that part. But the 46, will he appear to finish out his term of office? If not, can we have insights and information about the situation? Let's see what the universe wants to say. This one's upside down too. I guess that tells you I don't stack the deck. I don't know they're upside down until I pull the reverse card over. Okay, we have, this is looking hopeful. We have the Six of Swords. We have the Knight of Swords, white hat card. We have the Hermit, the Fool. We have the Seven of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, excuse me, and we have the Six of Pentacles again in this read, okay, with this deck. All right, so our question was, will 46 appear to finish out his term of office? Okay, if not, are there insights and information that we can have? Okay, now, I hate to tell you, but that ace says yes. Okay, we do know things have not moved fast. Okay, we're not hearing fix 2020 anymore, are we? There's a lot of things that aren't happening at the speed we want. It looks like he's going to be allowed to finish out that term of office and get to 2024 before changes occur. Okay, now here's what led me to that besides the ace. Okay, now we were asking, will we be brought out of that troubled water, that place with 46 in office anytime soon? And the White Hats are working on it. Okay, you got to understand, this isn't just a one country effort. It's a global type of operation going on. And we are removing evil that has been entrenched for thousands of years on our earth. Okay, so as much as we'd like to have that, and as much as they're working to have that happen, okay, and they are getting divine help with that. We have the Hermit card showing up here, which is my divine energy, also off-world benevolent being energy, just affirming that they're helping the White Hats with that. Okay, in the present, we have the Fool showing up, which made me a little hopeful that maybe we were going to be moving out into new territory soon. And I do think with big sky events that are in our near future, that is a possibility. But again, we had that ace showing up, and the aces are usually a pretty hard yes. Also, for the near future card, we have the Seven of Cups, which talks about choices. It can also often sometimes talk about sleight of hand. We do know that 46, like I said, is being played by many, many people. Okay, and so his residency, while it is grating, irritating, and an affront to those of us that want freedom, sovereignty, and truly, legitimately balloted people in office, okay? The smoke and mirrors game does look like it's going to continue into the future. But we have some reassurance again with the Six of Pentacles that the bigger picture is going to be, again, while the White Hats are aware of our needs and wants, it's all got to be blended into a big, huge strategic. And if you know anything about military operations, this truly is like the largest military operation of all time for our plane of existence that's going on. So there's consideration made here, but it's not necessarily going to flow the way we want it to as fast as we want it to. I mean, if it flowed as fast as we wanted it to, he would never have had one day even fakely in office, in my opinion. I just couldn't believe that they allowed that inauguration to happen. Okay, now let's address something, my voice. I seem to have picked up a spring cold. I'm a little hoarse. I'm not ill, no fever or anything like that. And I apologize if I'm difficult to hear. I'm doing my best. I did get a ship date on the new computer, so it should be here by the end of the month. And that will hopefully resolve some of the questions and issues we're having with that. Okay. Now, okay. All right. We have another question about the traditional internet. Can we anticipate it going down soon? All right. I'm going to get these cards ready. We'll use our first deck again. And with a question about soon, it might be wise to do that as a 9-card spread with my current, near future, and we'll specify that timeline for it, and then farther in advance. Okay, so you'll know what kind of read I do. And so the universe knows what kind of read I do. You have to set that up as you're asking the question and you can't change it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sit on some selenite. Have a rest. Okay. So we're going to be asking about some of the legacy internet services, such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Can we? So for those of us that are looking forward to having those go down and change over to a more quantum and universal access system, how will we be feeling about that? Let's have our first row. See how you can do it soon like that the universe can resonate with and respond. How will we be feeling about that situation? Top row for the first within the next 3 months. Middle row will be 3 to 6 months. And then the bottom row will be more than 6 months. Okay? So for those of us that are eagerly anticipating a change in our legacy media, social media, and legacy media, how will we be feeling about that situation for the next 3 months, 6 months, and beyond 6 months? Let's look and see which is the most inspiring and hopeful row. Okay? Okay. Top row. Our basic answer is the 8 of Cups. Okay. Then we have the 8 of Wands for insights and information, and the 4 of Cups. Our middle row for 3 to 6 months for change in that situation. We have the King of Pentacles. We have a victory card with the 6 of Wands. And then we have the High Priestess. So it looks like there's still going to be some secrets and things not revealed, even in 6 months. Let's look at beyond 6 months. We have the 3 of Swords, Knight of Wands, and old tricky 7 of Cups again. Okay, let's look at our basic answers here. So the basic answer for present to 3 months is the 8 of Cups, which will be that's a turning away card. That's a contemplation card. It's still going to be in the planning stages at that point, I think. 3 to 6 months looks more likely with the King of Pentacles, who is a generosity and good provider card. Okay. It's also very well aspected with the 6 of Wands, which is a card of victory, and one of my white hat cards. Although we're cautioned with the High Priestess showing up on the other side of it for the 3 to 6 months, that there's still going to be some hidden information, although it'll be very close to being revealed. And there's going to be some things that just aren't available to us to know in the public arena. Okay. Now, when we look beyond 6 months, we have the 3 of Swords, which is the card that can indicate some heartache and often untruths. Okay. So again, we were looking for would people who are anticipating that change be happy. This is not a happy card, but it may indicate that the legacy media and legacy social media sites are not going to be very happy. I say that because we have the 8 of Wands showing up, giving us a little more insight and information. And then just a reminder with our Smoke and Mirrors card with the 7 of Cups, that there are times when there seem to be a lot of options and you need to choose carefully. Okay. So I'd say right at the 6 month point, mark your calendars. We may be at a time of making some choices and changes in our legacy media, social media sites. Okay. The least powerful rows seem to be the 0 to 3 months. There were no major arcanas. There were no court cards. involved with that one. Okay. All right. Let me get the deck ready for a little rest, and then we'll go on to another question. By the way, my moderator and I are hoping to do these Live with Laura's on Fridays very regularly, hopefully even weekly. Just understand, that we do this part-time. It's not our full-time gig. And there may be times when life intervenes. Today, my daughter's preschool was closed, and she needed me to watch Otis, and I wasn't able to because this was scheduled, and so she had to use some leave. Now, so understand that I'll schedule these a couple days in advance, so and you can ask to be notified about them. There may be a cancellation just because of life issues, not necessarily a major calamity. Like today, it wasn't a major calamity, but it would have been nice if I could have helped her out. Okay. She's trying to save that leave for some upcoming medical issues. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome back, Plaid. Okay. All right. All right, we have a question going on about the 15-minute cities, and that is from Diane Lowe. Okay, and I've seen that question before, and I'm a little hesitant to read about it, but I'll do it here in the live. But I'm going to explain my hesitancy, and then give me a minute to kind of frame it accurately. Here's why my hesitancy is. On our current timeline, there is nothing good about 15-minute cities. Okay, it's all about control. It's all about locking people down and taking away some freedom of movement. Okay, it has nothing to do with conserving energy, because they could simply do a huge PR campaign encouraging people to shop local, walk, go places that are walking distance from your home. They don't have to put up these barriers and these sensors that allow you in or out of the 15-minute cities. Okay, if the true intent was to have people be mindful about their energy use and to use that social conscience, it's good to have. A PR campaign would suffice. Okay, but what I see is that there are multiple timeline options and opportunities. Okay, and as our world changes, our timelines change. Okay, so yeah, I've always felt very intuitively that there's going to be some people who are still on timelines where the 15-minute cities are nothing good. Nothing good. They're like some of those dystopian movies we've got out where people think of the Hunger Games, where they had the 12 regions. Those were cities. All right. And one was favored and the others were not. Okay. So, but I also think as our world changes for the better, and we are more and more aware of our sovereignty, our powers of manifestation, our ability to wield a lot of power with our power to give or revoke consent, that those 15-minute cities could be actually a beautiful thing. But they need to include that freedom of movement where you're encouraged to use this. We'll try to have everything you need within 15 minutes, but you are more than free to check out others, to move from place to place. There needs to be that freedom incorporated in it too. So, all right. Here's how I'm going to frame the question now that I've explained some of my thoughts on 15-minute cities in general. And that's why when Mr. T was talking about freedom cities and stuff, I could see where if you had that freedom of movement incorporated in it, where you could see that City A has the same amenities and possibilities and lifestyle opportunities that City B or C does, you could settle in happily in Freedom City A. All right. But for people, let's look, we're living in this world right now where things are still complicated. Change is happening in pockets, and we haven't had those big global celestial sky events really unfold. So let's ask about the 15-minute cities that are currently being planned and used? What insights and information do people need to know about those cities? They're happening around people. Maybe you've had your home for 30 years and all of a sudden its boundaries are within a 15-minute city. So it's not like they're being built on new land and people are given the opportunity to move to them. Sometimes it's happening to them against their will and regardless of what their personal thoughts might be. So those people being currently impacted by 15-minute city boundaries, etc., what insights and information does the universe have for us? Again, insights and information for those people currently impacted across our planet on this timeline. I'm trying to close all loopholes by 15-minute cities. Insights and information. And this is a current read for this timeline. I did see some videos where people were bypassing those controls, moving those barriers and things like that. I love peaceful resistance efforts. They're more powerful than we're led to believe they are. Okay. All right. Insights and information. Situations being indicated by the Page of Pentacles, clarified a little bit by the Page of Swords. Those are youthful energies. Justice for the recent past. The Hanged Man for the currency. Looking in the future, we have the World, Temperance, and the King of Swords. All right. So we were looking for insights and information about 15-minute cities as they currently are rolling out in this plane of existence on our timeline. Okay. And that question was indicated by the Page of Pentacles and clarified by the Page of Swords. Again, like I said, those are youthful energies. They're often associated with truth and justice. And well, the current situation is if you're in those cities, there are some chances for you to have some money saving abilities on your energy and what have you. And there is an eye to having them eventually evolve into something that's really beautiful. Okay, the Justice card shows up for the recent past. Okay, Justice card is just that, an opportunity for justice and righting wrongs. Okay, so the White Hats and Alliance are very aware that those 15-minute cities have an agenda and purpose that is not necessarily in the best interest of humanity. But that's going to change because of the Justice card. Okay, so moving forward, as changes occur on this plane of existence for Earth, for humanity, they're going to be able to roll out in a much more beautiful way. I say that because the Hangman has those aha moments, and we have ways of looking at situations with a new way and approaching them in a new way. So again, a 15-minute city by itself isn't a bad thing unless it takes away people's freedom of movement and freedom of choice. Okay? And we get some reassurance again. Looking at our future row, we have the World showing up. They are going to be a reality in our world, but in a beautiful, beautiful way in the future. Okay? So I would say I would avoid them now if it was at all possible, but in the future, they won't need to be avoided. Okay? Then the beautiful aspects that can be brought out by that community feel, by having all services and goods available to you within a short range. But again, with your freedom, if you just have a whim and I want to go across the state lines and check out this city, you can do it. It could be really, in the future, it will roll out in a beautiful way. Okay? And they will, I say that because also we have the Temperance card showing up. Again, we've got, on the last row, looking at the future, we have two major arcanas giving us major reassurance here, because major arcanas mean it's pretty well, you can take it to the bank. Okay? Temperance card says that they will take what is currently being planned without necessarily beneficial intent and modify it enough that it truly is, and that it's something that those cities are something we can in the future enjoy and be part of without a loss of freedom. And I say that because we were also given our secondary insight was the King of Swords, again, working with justice. This is a White Hat Alliance card. And swords are about justice and truth in the written and spoken word. Okay, we're rolling right along today. All right, I'm going to get this deck ready to be cleared. You can kind of see my process. I put the cards back in randomly, but distanced from each other, so I don't just pick up all the ones in this read. Then I'll do the 4 taps and let it sit on the selenite and just rest. And I did let the universe know as I was getting ready here that these cards would be used for multiple questions, and that I really appreciated that they'd be flexible, versatile, and be willing to change topics quickly. All right. Okay, Janine would like to know if Mr. T will come back in 2023. This is a yes or no question. And a Kachina knife spread tells more, okay? So, and here's the problem. I've shared my personal belief that we have a continuity of government situation going on. And Mr. T in the background is very much, has never left. In fact, I've got a read about that. One of my early videos was about that. I've never changed my opinion, and I haven't gotten other information from the universe to change my mind on that. So we want to ask about a public perception, okay? All right, because if we just ask, is he going to be back in 2023, we're going to get something from the universe like, duh, he never left. Or silly question, I'm not even going to honor it with an answer. We don't want that. So let's ask the universe if, and again, remember, we just got you information from the universe that 46 was going to be allowed to, in the public eye, finish out his term of office. So it'll be interesting to see what we have here. So again, this is a in the public eye question. In the public eye, will Mr. T seem to return this calendar year with our current calendar? So this calendar year with our current calendar, will Mr. T seem to publicly, in the public eye, return? And other insights and information the universe wants to share. Interesting. That one, I had some fall. I'm going to give it a couple more because I want to really know where that dividing line is for that middle section of cards. And again, stating it just for the universe. Will the public perception, in the public eye, will Mr. T seem to return in 2023, plus any insights or information that need to be shared with us or can be shared with us at this time? Did it again. I'm going to just figure that the universe emphatically wanted that in the middle. Okay, let's see what it was emphatic about. We have the 8 of Swords for the situation. Then we have the 9 of Swords for a little more clarity about it. We have the Wheel of Fortune showing up, which I like. It's always turning, and we know we're going from dark to light. We have the 5 of Cups. King of Swords for now we're starting in on our future with advice and information. We have the 6 of Cups here. And the Hanged Man showing up again. Okay, so our question was, public perception-wise, will Mr. T seem to return to office in 2023? Okay, that situation was indicated by the 8 of Swords, which means there's waiting involved. There's sometimes a compromise, and it's a willing waiting. If you ever look at this card, let me show it a little closer, she could easily get herself out of that situation, okay? So she's willing to allow herself to wait, to be in a holding pattern. And I think that's pretty indicative of Mr. T, that he is, his public return is on a holding pattern, okay? Yeah. We're getting reassured with the Nine of Swords. Again, to me, this is telling me, yes, you're right, Laura. The continuity of government is in play, and he's never really left. So the public return is kind of like frosting on the cake, but it's not the cake itself. Okay. Wheel of Fortune for the near future, for the recent past, shows up that that's changing. Okay, so there is a chance that he could come back in, according to our calendar, 2023. Okay, but we're not in charge of how fast that wheel turns, but we do know it is going from dark to light. And dark is balloting that has no integrity, that hasn't been cleaned up, that has people selected in office, not elected. Okay, that it is having people that seem to be given a voice, that seem to be freely chopping away at our freedoms of movement, of speech, of whatever we choose to own or protect ourselves with. Okay, so that is changing, and it will change for the better. Okay, now in the current card, if you've been watching me any time at all, you know often this shows Mr. 46 for me. Okay, sadness personified. Okay, so we're showing that in the present, 46 is still part of the picture, at least in the public eye, in the present. However, he can't stand against this. In the near future, we do have the King of Swords. So that's why I say between that and the Wheel of Fortune, there is still a chance. And again, timelines are fluid. Okay, that's why I keep trying to tell you our powers of manifestation, of saying, I consent to live in a world where blah, blah, blah is my commander in chief publicly and openly. I do not consent to live in a world where so and so is my commander in chief and where our Constitution is chopped at and our freedoms are taken from us. As we use our powers of manifestation and consent together, we can make that change and make it happen. So that's why the possibility is still out there. But some of it hinges just on you and I. Okay? Know your power and wield it. Wield it fearlessly. Okay? To give consent. But the King of Swords is reassuring us that in the near future, we will see that change. Okay? He's often one of my Mr. T cards. And there is just no way to interpret the Six of Cups than one of reconciliation and happiness and love and, across generations and especially for our little ones. So remember, when we chafe at the actions and shenanigans that 46 and those he's a puppet for impose on us, we have to be mindful that it is for the children, the ones currently that need freedom and healing and nurturing, and the ones to come that don't need to be born into a world where they're a product, where they're a commodity, where they're born to be part of a ritual, born to be used and cast aside. Okay. And then our secondary insight on that is the Hanged Man. Again, we need to look at things in a new way. We are. If you've been just listening to me with this and you internalize, okay, I may be a baby at consent issues, but by God, I'm going to start using it. I'm going to wield it. I'm going to wield it fearlessly. Okay? And again, with your consent, I revoke and recall and remove any consent that seemed to be implied to live with this situation. I do the same thing on balloting issues. I have a really hard time participating in a balloting process that hasn't been cleaned up. The only reason I did was because I truly believe that there are quantum mechanics involved that let them see what we have truly asked for, truly balloted on, even though they let the shenanigans roll out in the public eye. That was the only reason I participated with it. Okay? And so I do that mindfully. I'm going to cast my ballot, but I give no consent for it to be used, changed, mitigated. If it does, it happens without my consent. I cast my ballot so that the white hats, the alliance, and those utilizing technology that has been hidden from us can know what I truly voted for. Okay, I'll get off my bandstand on that. But guys, our powers of consent, they're huge, huge. And any situation that is ongoing means that at some point, evil was able to do a workaround and say that they got your implied consent. Pull it back, recall it to yourself. I may have to live in a reality where 46 seems to be the imposter in chief, but it's happening without my consent, implied or explicit, now and evermore. I may have to live in a world where children are still viewed as a commodity or a product, but that's happening over my dead body and without my consent, either implied or explicit. And any consent that seemed to be implied in the past, I recall back to myself to be wielded knowingly, freely, and in ways I direct. Okay, I'm going to take one more question and then we're going to wrap this up. Okay. All right. Patricia wanted to know about Antarctica. We've heard a lot of things about Antarctica, that it's a portal, that there's wonders there that we can only imagine, that there is a very real reason why so many countries agreed not to colonize it and utilize it and claim it. So let's ask for insights and information about Antarctica. What does the universe want us to know about the continent, or what appears to be the continent of Antarctica? Okay, our first card is the Six of Swords. Clarifier card is the Nine of Cups. Then we have the Ten of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. Then we have the Five of Pentacles. Snow in the picture, Antarctica snow. We have the Devil card. And the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, well, here's what the cards are telling me, and I'll explain why. There's a lot more going on with our Antarctica than we are told. That's kind of like a duh, right? Okay, Antarctica is going to be important. Once cleaned up, it's going to have uses and avenues for the good of all generations and innocent life that we haven't even been hinted at yet. Okay, once it does, we're going to really love what we learn about Antarctica. Okay, absolutely love it. Okay, in the past card, we have the Ten of Cups. Antarctica was never meant to be lied about and kept from us. That technologies and portals and other energy possibilities that are incorporated there was never meant to be kept from us. It was meant for our good. But as with so many things, it's been kept from us. Okay? We've been lied to about it. It was hijacked, derailed, and they tried to divert its use. Present card, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Just reassuring us that Antarctica, the good possibilities of it, the good that can come from it, or it can be utilized for or with is still secure, absolutely secure, and going to be made available to us. Now, not in the very near future, because in the near future card, we've got, first of all, the Five of Pentacles, and that's when you willingly bypass some structures and stuff to follow your beliefs and go where you want to go, okay? So there's a fight going on still. I say that because on this side of it, we have the Devil card showing up. So I would say that the cleanup in Antarctica is not done yet, okay? The removal of, they may have closed portals and gates there, but there's some entrenched energy or beings or trapped at this point that are still hoping to stand their ground and keep some territory that's not theirs to keep. Okay. We're getting a reassurance, though, about the ultimate success of that with the Knight of Pentacles. With the Knight of Pentacles, it's a military card, a stability card, a good planning card, and just no worries. It's not going fast, but it's going to go well type of card. So that's it for the Antarctica question. And that'll be it for today on questions. My voice is getting a little hoarse. And I do appreciate all of you that were here and participating. I have set this session up to have live chat replay. It does take a while for it to show up, but it does. And again, if your question wasn't answered during this live stream, it's possible that I might use that topic for videos out this week. I usually do 4 or 5 that are single topic videos as the week goes on. So, and we'll do this again next week, creation willing, unless there are big changes. I wouldn't mind. And I'm thinking like, sky event, ascension, all of a sudden we're teleporting and telepathic and all that sort of stuff, and trying to get a handle on those skills. That's definitely going to impact our life. So, but as I say, we have to live in the world we have right now currently around us, and we have to interact with that world in a responsible and mature fashion, and know that even though the change, we can't just sit back and go, I'm going to wait for the change, because we're part of the change with our powers of consent and manifestation, and knowing that our job is to grow as spiritual beings. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience, okay? And we have to grow that spirituality of ourselves. And it should be growing in a kind and loving way. And we should be setting aside anger and sarcasm. That's hard. You guys don't think I'm sarcastic, but I've sure got a snarky element to me that I have to just set aside and go, okay, that's not productive, Laura. So we'll try this again next week. If for some reason I need to cancel, I'll give you as much notice as possible. It would be day of, because it would be an event, like what we had today in my family. But I'll give you notice if we have to. And as always, if YouTube doesn't play nice and doesn't allow the live stream to push forward with you able to hear me, etc., I'll quickly start a new one. Last week we did it 3 times, and the third one worked great. And thank you so much for everybody being here. I've been glancing at the screen, and I'm seeing lots of names that I know and love. By the way, I want to clear something up. When I'm doing these live streams and chatting with you, please don't think that I am, with body language, indicating a no if I shake my head left and right. I had that happen last week when someone asked about Christian 21. I was trying to see who was in and what the next question might be, so I was reading back and forth. I wasn't saying I support the man, and I think he's trying to tell what he thinks is an absolute truth, which I do, okay? I'm not saying I agree with him completely, but I do believe he is trying to bring you truth without ulterior motives, and to him, he's doing the best job he can, and we're all human, okay? But I was watching back and forth, and someone said, you were shaking your head. No, your body language indicated something different than your words. Well, if I'm reading the scroll here, of course I'm going to be going back and forth from looking at the camera to looking here and looking back. So please don't misread body language in that way, Okay, because that was definitely a misread on the person that part of the person that thought that's what was going on. So thank you, Julie, for being my moderator. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And let's keep those powers uh, in play and practice, okay? Think about what you might have given implied consent for and call it back. Think about the world you want, the structures you want, the health you want, and work to make that happen by manifesting it. Say, I make manifest. Yeah, future generations are going to laugh at these efforts. But again, we're learning from scratch. They're going to be born with the skills we're trying to develop. But just because it's difficult doesn't mean we don't do it. We don't try it. Okay? So work on your consent, revoking it, recalling it when you need to, granting it when it's wise to. Okay? From everything from media to government structures to current events to family situations. Okay? Revoke and recall or grant consent in a very wise and loving way. And then work on your powers of manifestation. Take a little time every day to picture what you want and then give yourself consent for that to be our future reality. It'll help. It will help. Okay, until next time, love and light. And I wish everyone the very, very best. Do your homework, guys. Consent, manifestation. Bye.